Hey guys, Charl here from worshipguitarskills.com, back again with another lesson for you. Now in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to use melodic chord voicings. That's right, normally people just play chord voicings or they do melodies and they try and kind of do those as two mutually exclusive parts. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use simple chord voicings yet combine that with a melodic approach. Let's go ahead, play the example right away, and afterwards we'll come back and break it down so you can go ahead and use this in your own playing. Right, so if you've been following along on our channel, you know that I have this concept that I teach known as 4-2 voicings, which is simply voicings that you play on the 4th and 2nd strings. So I can play E like this. I can play B like this. Then I can play C sharp minor like this. And I can play A like this. Those are 4-2 voicings. That is my shorthand of referring to these voicings since we are playing them on the 4th and the 2nd strings. Now, where do they come from? Well, if you know triads, and if you know that in this series, of which this is the 4th video, we've been focusing on triads and to show you how you can use triads in your playing to show you what notes you can play to kind of come up with these melodic examples. So for example, this would be an E triad. This is a B triad, a C sharp minor triad, and an A triad. And those are the specific triads for this example. But you can hear when I play the triads like that, with all 3 notes, specifically on strings 4, 3, and 2, it's fairly dense sounding. It's not something that very easily cuts through the mix, which is a big problem that modern worship guitar players have, is their voicings don't quite cut through the mix. So just listen to this again. E, B, C sharp minor, and A. It's just a little bit too dense sounding. What happens if I drop the middle note? Check this out. So instead of this, I'm just gonna have, and instead of this, I'm gonna have, instead of this, I'm gonna have, and instead of this, so now I've got, totally different sound. Let me play that for you again with just the chord shapes that you can now see are 4-2 voicings that basically originates from a triad where I just don't play the middle note of the triad, specifically focusing on strings 4 and 2. Check it out. That's it. It's the 4-2 voicings, and of course I added some embellishments at the end, which is really what I'm going to be teaching you to do in this video. But if you want to learn more about this concept of the 4-2 voicings, which really means it's 3 simple shapes, namely this. And with those 3 simple shapes, you can play any major or any minor chord specifically around modern worship using just those 3 simple shapes. All right, so let's move on by showing you how this embellishment works. You already know what the shapes are and where they come from. They come from the triad shape. So instead of this, I'm playing just the 4th and 2nd notes. Nice and easy. Now for my first chord, which is an E. Can you see that the note 2 frets below this 9th fret is 7? And that's a really cool way to do a embellishment. Now if you've ever played a D chord, it's that exact idea. But I'm just playing it in E. Alright, so instead of playing, I'm going. Now that rhythm, if you want to look closely at my picking here, so it's pick, middle finger, hammer, and then pick, middle finger. So pick, middle finger, hammer, pick, middle finger. And then I'm going to go in reverse to get to my B chord. Now I just added that note because you know that this is a B triad, and so is that. So I have this extra high note at my disposal there. Now my next chord is a C sharp minor. So I can now go from the note just before the E note, which is... Okay, let's do all 3 chords together. And then, now you remember in one of the previous examples, if you've seen it, we kind of had that idea over the A chord. Now, this is what we call an A closed triad, and this is an A open triad. What's the difference? Well, in the closed triad, I have an E note in the middle. And in the open triad, I'm going to take this E note and place it there. So now I basically took this idea. That's the melody, really. But I'm playing it as a chord, where I let those notes ring together. So slowly for the E, for the B, for the C sharp minor, for the A, and that is a super cool way in which you can use a chord voicing, but to add melodic context and content to what you are playing. What I'm going to do now is I'll play it for you one more time so you can see and hear what it sounds like with the track, and then I will use other variations of these 4/2 voicings just to kind of jam around with this progression, which is a 1-5-6-4. And before we get to that, if you'd love to get access to this backing track along with hundreds of other backing tracks in a range of different progressions, keys and tempos, all composed in a modern worship genre and style, check out the description for links to our Worship Guitar Skills Practice Pack. Now, our Worship Guitar Skills Practice Pack is a wonderful resource that literally gives you hundreds of these backing tracks so you can practice these concepts and techniques in a musical setting with a super cool backdrop of these musical backing tracks, as well as some teaching on how to come up with your guitar parts that's accompanied with guitar tabs so you can see exactly what I am playing. All of that is available to you in the Worship Guitar Skills Practice Pack. Just check the link in the description. And what I'll do now is I'll play us out for this video using this simple example that I've shown you, and then I'll start and just kind of embellish it even further using different chord shapes. Let's go for it.